And we're joined on the phone today by author Ella Morton, and her new book, Atlas Obscura, the second edition, is available now. Hey, Ella, how's it going today?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, let's talk about the new book here, Atlas Obscura. Maybe for the listeners out there who missed the first edition, can you tell us what's in store here for the new one?
Absolutely. So edition number 1 came out in 2016, Atlas Obscura, an explorer's guide to the world's hidden wonders. And it was a continuation of Atlas Obscura, the website, which is how all this caper project began. So we chose our favorite 500 or so strange and wondrous locations from around the world, and we put them into the first book. But then immediately, of course, as soon as that book came out, we kept hearing about other incredible places and thinking, oh, I wish we'd put that in the book. And so now we have the opportunity to, and we have this new edition with 100 new places that has just come out.
Excellent. So if the listeners out there have the first edition, you're going to want to get this second one here. As you mentioned, a lot of new stuff has been added.
That's right, yes. And we put in a dozen city guides, so that's just basically our sneaky way of putting even more places in, because all these cities had so many locations to choose from that we just created an extra page with shorter entries to fit them all in. And we also have a fold-out map with our dream global itinerary. And we've added a bunch of new photographs as well for places that we've kept the same. So there's a ton of new stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, as you mentioned back when the first book came out, you almost had to do an updated version. I imagine probably another edition coming up down the road here sometime.
I'm sure. This is our life now. Yeah, we've both blessed and cursed ourselves to doing this forever.
Well, again, the new edition of Atlas Obscura is out now. And can you explain, Ella, how you discover some of these places? Are you getting tips from people? Or, I mean, it seems like it would be tough to visit all these places yourself.
It's true. Unfortunately, we can't go to all these hundreds of places, just the three of us. So we do have this huge community of people who are the Atlas Obscura group community, and they submit places that they have been to that they think we should read up on and check out. And we share this sensibility of just wanting to let people know about these incredible but perhaps overlooked places. And we get so many of our locations that we've included in the book from that community, so we definitely couldn't do it without them.
So if you had to choose, could you say maybe a favorite or two of the places that you have been to that maybe are in the new edition here?
Yeah, so I love medical museums, and one of them is in Philadelphia. People pronounce it differently, but it's the Mutter or the Mutter or the Mutter, and it just has a fascinating collection of human specimens, just sort of body parts in jars and dermatological diseases and things that can be a little confronting to look at but are fascinating. They have some slices of Einstein's brain. They have a chest of drawers where each drawer you open up has very neatly categorized things that have been removed from people's stomachs during surgery. So that's one of the more striking places that I've been to that I would definitely go to again and again. And as for new places that I have not been to yet, but I really want to, there's a library in Portugal that's from the 18th century and has a bunch of books from the 14th to the 19th century. And what's special about it is that at night they let a flock of bats fly around to deter the insects that would otherwise destroy these priceless old books. So that's just so strange to me that I really feel like I need to go there.
I got to say, I loved the world's largest conveyor belt. I mean, that's incredible. You could see it from space even.
Yes, I know. It's amazing. So there's a conveyor belt that's 61 miles long. It starts in Western Sahara, where there is a phosphate mine, and it goes all the way to the sea. So it transports phosphate to be distributed all around the world. And it has this other interesting thing where when the winds pick up in the desert, they will blow the lighter particles of phosphate off of the conveyor belt and onto the sands alongside. So there's this sort of ghostly trail of powdery white that goes alongside it.
Again, Ella Morton's with us, author of the book Atlas Obscura. The second edition is out now, and I think it's important to note you've got GPS coordinates for all these places, in case the listeners out there want to start planning their vacations.
Yes, just plug them into your GPS. And I think part of the reason we did that is to show you that they do actually exist, because in some cases it's almost unbelievable. And
I imagine some of these places probably not going to be some place the average person would visit. Maybe it's dangerous or remote or whatever. So I mean, the fact that it's in the book and really kind of gives you a first-hand view of it in case maybe you'll never be able to get to it yourself.
Right, and we do include, the vast majority of places are places you can visit, but we do include one or two that are impossible to get to just to show you what's out there. So, for example, there's a spacecraft cemetery a few thousand miles east of New Zealand where a lot of the spacecraft land when they re-enter Earth's orbit and they just fall to the bottom of the ocean. So there's this entire almost junkyard of spacecraft, including the entire Mir space station, just lying at the bottom of the sea there. So obviously you can't visit it, but I like to know it's there.
Well, and again, you mentioned the website, atlasobscura.com. Can you talk a little bit about that? I know that's obviously changing, it seems, here by the day with all the new stuff you're adding.
It is. I know. It's become this sprawling project. So it began basically as a blog in 2009 to list these amazing places. Now it is a database of approaching 20,000 places. We have a database of foods that are strange and wondrous around the world. We have an editorial section that's basically an online magazine. We have events that we do all around the U.S., and we also now lead international trips. So you can go to Chernobyl with a photographer. You can go to Vietnam and eat your way across the country. You can go to Death Valley and look at the stars. It's a whole range of options there.
Excellent. Yeah, it definitely makes you feel small to know that, almost daily we're still discovering all these places in the world. It's amazing that so many things keep popping up.
It's quite humbling. It really does make you think about the enormity of the world that's out there, but it also is inspiring.
Well, again, the new edition of Atlas Obscura just out, but is there something else maybe in the works or something else we should be looking out for?
Next year we have our food-focused book coming out, which is Gastro Obscura, which will be pretty exciting. So there's a lot of taste testing going on at the moment of strange foods.
Awesome. Well, again, definitely love the book, and I'm looking forward to the food one next. Thank you so much for your time today, Ella.
Thank you.
And again, that was author Ella Morton and her new book, Atlas Obscura. The second edition is available now. Get more info at atlasobscura.com.